Aiden Chavez.
I mean, he's the real deal. He's the best quarterback in the state. You know, I do the games with Daryl Stone. I mean, obviously he was a receiver at Michigan, and then some time with the Chiefs. And actually, he played high school with Case Keenum, and he was just marveling at the throws Aiden was making. You know, he kept telling our viewers that, hey, these aren't high school throws. These are next-level throws. Some of these throws that he's making, those are the first kind of throws they ask you to make at the combine, et cetera, et cetera. So he was just really going on and on about how, hey, we're not watching a high school quarterback here. These are not high school throws. So he was on full display last week against El Dorado. That was fun to watch.
Now, Sebastian, is this also not just Cibola playing better around him? We're seeing Chavez kind of settle in and being that quarterback that just makes everyone else that much better?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell, you know, he's a real leader on that team, and he's starting to get some rhythm going. I think the week one game, they really got to him, and he didn't look comfortable. I think what makes Aiden so special is, you know, most quarterbacks that are above average can throw out of the pocket in high school, but when he's on the move and he throws darts, that's when you can see, okay, this is what college coaches are salivating over. This is what everyone's talking about. So I think he's really found a comfort level. You know, and even his incomplete passes, you know, he threw it 47 times against El Dorado, 29 completions, but some of his incomplete passes, I mean, they are just barely missing, but they're missing where only the receiver could catch it. It's not going to be a turnover the other way, you know. So, yeah, I think he's just kind of found a comfort level here. I mean, they're still pretty pass-heavy, which would concern me if I'm a Cibola fan. But, you know, against El Dorado and that defense, they realized early, I think, they weren't going to get anything on the ground. So they started mixing in a lot of short passes, a lot of bubble screens, stuff out to the flats, which is essentially an extension of your running game. So I think they did a great job play calling that game as well.
Sebastian, how good is he? The last quarterback that I remember getting this much buzz, at least in the metro area, was Zach Gentry. And he got recruited he committed to Texas, and they went to Michigan, and then they turned him into a tight end, and he's in the NFL. That's a high standard. But comparative, how good is he?
Well, the size, there's definitely a similarity there because Aiden's he's 6'5" himself. Now, I think I don't think he's as bulky as Zach was. Zach was already pretty well put together at that time. Now, remember, Aiden's only a junior. I think that's a fair conversation to have. I mean, I would be hesitant to compare anyone to Zach because he was just slinging it everywhere. But I can't think of another comparison right now, Jeff, so that's probably a fair one.
Sebastian Noel from ProView Networks is with us as we talk high school sports this morning on the opening drive.
Well, Sebastian, what do you think of the matchup this week, Cibola and Las Lunas?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the best matchup of the week. I really do. You know, Las Lunas is having a good season. They got a quarterback themselves, Paul Sierramans. You know, talk about doing things a totally different way. You know, he's one of those guys that, you know, he'll look to run and he can take off, and he's deceptively quick. He can make the throws, but, you know, nothing spectacular. He's never going to put on an Aiden air show, but he just gets the job done. And when he gets loose on the ground, look out. So probably the best quarterback matchup of the season we've seen so far will be at that game.